What is going on, everyone? We are here for week 12 of the Ferrari GT3 Fixed Challenge Track Guide Series. This week we're at Circuit de Magny-Cours. So this is the final round, or the final week of the Season 3 iRacing Championships. So there you go, guys. We are done for another season. So obviously next week we'll roll into week 13. And we'll probably get some pretty cool new content coming. And then we will be back for Season 4 the week after. So hope you guys have had a good season. Hope you guys have moved forward, gained a lot of experience, track knowledge at some of these circuits. Looking forward to continuing these guides next season, definitely. The Ferrari's been very popular. Lots of very positive feedback from all you guys, so we'll continue to do these next season and into 2024 as well. So thank you again to everybody that subscribed, liked, commented, just been interacting with us on YouTube, Facebook, all our social platforms. It means a lot, guys. So we will fire off for the last week of the season, and let's go to Magny-Cours in the Ferrari. Alright guys, so now we're going to break down the lap. So as you come down into turn 1, it's a pretty sort of high speed corner. So as you get towards the end of the curb, so I'm just going to stop the car right here. So just a little bit before the end of the curb. So you got it's another pit lane on the right hand side. So it's another circuit that's got 2 pit lanes. Obviously we use the one on the left hand side. But so as the wall ends at the end of the pit lane on the right, there's the orange coping on the wall, there's the end of the curbing, and I wouldn't say I use the wall more, but I feel like it's easier to use the wall when you're in traffic, you know what I mean? So like in a race situation, you're not going to be able to always see the curb in front of you, especially if you're within a meter, 2 meters of the car in front. You're just not going to be able to have that visual impact. So at least when you use the wall as a reference point, it's just setting yourself up a little bit more comfortable. So because nobody's going to be up against the wall, you know what I mean? So as you come in, you want to sort of run the tires. Once you get to the edge of the wall, you want to start to run the tires diagonal across the inside of the track, right? So 5th gear, I know you can go back to 4th. I feel like 5th and hold it. I take a decent sized lift into the corner to get the car to rotate to the curb at this point here. Once I get to the curb, then I start to pick the throttle back up again. And it's a lift to get the car to pivot in, and then the car runs right to the edge of the road on the outside over here. And then I start to come back across the track. So once I get to the curb, I start to come back across to this other curb, and I get in line with the flag marshal stand directly in front of us, as you can see. So I use the flag marshal stand as I come across the first curb, And then as I pass that first curb, I start to track the car in towards the orange wall, and I want to get to the white line on the inside. And then I follow that white line around to the blue cone, and all the way around. So you just want to hug this whole thing. Right, once I get in line with the blue cone, so I use the blue cone as a marker, as a reference point, I follow the white line around. Once the blue cone is to my left, then I start to let the car track out off the white line. And I'm referring to like maybe 1.5 meters. So that by the end of the last billboard here, I'm just wide of the white line. And I'm not talking like miles, it's just a little tiny bit. Then the car starts to rotate round. And then at this point here, so there's the one single shrub in between the two sort of clumps of trees. That's where I start to want to get the car back at the white line. So from that point there, I start to rotate the car back around towards the white line. I'm still dancing on the throttle here. I'm not at 100% throttle yet. By the end of that second billboard, start of the third one, so right now at this reference point here, you should be able to really start to pick the throttle up. And you're not going to get to 100 straight away, but you're going to be really able to get it to that like 75, 80, 90. The car's going to track out towards the DRS board. You want to use the back of the curb, use all that track, and then carry the throttle down. Obviously, you want to build that throttle as quick as possible. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you will get to 100% throttle really quick. The biggest thing I'm finding with this car at the moment with the fixed challenge setup on it is it does tend to favour quite a bit of understeer. So it is definitely like sliding on the nose as you turn the corner in. So it is a little bit harder to get the nose to bite quicker and actually pick up the throttle earlier. So as you're coming down this, I call it a back straight, really. This is the back straight, even though it's not. It's the longest part of the track, really. Set yourself up on the left-hand side of the track, and you're looking for this white line here. So this white line here signifies the 150 mark. So it's just past this that we're braking. But I do find here, personally, I do brake a little bit earlier than you probably would at any other big braking zone. I just want to get that car fully stopped and rotated so I can really focus on the exit of the corner here. So 150 marker, nice big brake pressure, all the way back to first gear. As I come down, I stay as close to the left-hand side as possible. As I come into the corner, I start to track a little bit towards the curb, just a tiny bit, like maybe half a tyre over the curb, right? And then I turn the car in 3 red squares from the end. So at this point right here, I turn the car in, back in first gear. As I turn the car in, I want to clip the curb, not at halfway, but just past it. So at this red, it's like your white square is your middle in the half. It's the one red square after that. And if I just try and rotate the car a little bit more, you'll actually see there's that little seal of bitumen that comes off the center curb, and then it tracks out to the middle of the road. That's another sort of way that you know that you're sort of in line, because if you're clipping it just before that starts, then you sort of can follow that trajectory, not so much straight across, but you'll be able to sort of follow that trajectory of the line out towards that radio tower, out to the edge of the curb to use all that circuit. Up through the gears again. Nice little short shoot into the next chicane. You'll be up to 5th gear as you're coming through here. Get close to the curb, stay on the left-hand side here. Right, 50 metre board or the white line, or just before the end of the curb. So roughly about this point here, I'm just past it. I'm sort of like at that 40 metres, and I'm literally just tapping the brake just to get the nose to bite in, and I'm carrying a lot of speed through here. I don't turn in till the end of the curb, so I start to turn the car at the corner now. I get 2 tyres over this little curb, but I don't touch that yellow sausage bit behind, just a tiny little bit, and then I diagonal the car across, and I do put quite a bit of car on the inside here, but you've got to be careful. You can get away with about that much. Anything more than that, and you're going to get penalised. I follow the trajectory of the curb and I run off as the curb ends. I let the car track right out to the right-hand side of the circuit straight away. As I'm rolling down into the hairpin, or the second hairpin, I brake just before the end of the curb. So I'm braking at about this second last red square, maybe the last white square. The trick down here, but, is to really focus on making sure you square that exit up. So as you come down, don't turn in too early. It does bait you into turning in early, but you really don't want to. So you want to make sure you get to like this point here. So miss that little green painted bit. Make sure you come past the join. This looks like a penalty pass through for motorbikes. And then I sort of turn in just before you'll see directly in front of us how there's that little bit of bitumen colour change right here with the seal on it. This is where I'm turning the car in at the corner. So it is quite deep into the corner. Now the reason we're doing that is as you come off, you want to make sure you tie off the exit of the curb. As you'll see when we get round, there is a huge bump on the inside curb. So sealer, start to turn the car at the corner. The car's going to rotate round. Second gear through here. You want to clip the apex right as the corner's starting to square up. So about 3 to 4 red squares from the end of the curb. So at about this point here, sort of in line with the light pole. And then from that point there, you want to start to really feed the car throttle and let it drive off. Now, stay off this side of the curb. As you're coming through here, you want to get as close to the curb as possible, but don't actually hit it, because right at this point here, you'll see there's a heap of rubber build up, but the curb actually dips down and dips up, and you can actually break quite a lot of traction here, and it's not going to ruin your race, but it's going to ruin your drive, and you actually do lose a couple of Ks in speed in this section here if you can't get that throttle down quick enough. So nice and close to the curb, but try not to get on the curb. Let the car track out. It's going to drift to the left-hand side, obviously, with the pace you're carrying out of here. Up through the gears again. Same again up here. You're looking for under the bridge. You start to set yourself up on the left-hand side. You're going to blow past the 100 meters again, and you're going to brake at this white line again. So it's probably around that sort of 50, 60 meter mark, roughly. Same again here, tap the brake, down one gear here, turn in at the start of the curb, so turn in right now. Use a little tiny bit of curb on the entry again, just a smidge, but you want to make sure you diagonal the car straight across again and use all the curb on the inside. This is going to be the crucial part here, so all the speed around. You're going to sort of have to dance on the throttle and the brake through that part just to keep the balance under the car. The car's going to move around quite a lot. As you come up here, you're looking to aim yourself on the left-hand side straight away. You'll see the curb coming up. You'll see that the start of the curb is actually wider than the next part of the curb. You want to brake at that transition change between the two curbs. So right at this point here, nice big brake pressure. Fourth gear, back to second gear. Turn in quite late in the corner because you want to turn back on the corner. So you want to turn in like 2 red squares from the end. Even at the end of the curb's fine. So I'm turning in at this point here roughly. Turn the car at the corner. You don't really want to hit the curb too much because it will upset the balance of the car. You want to get to the apex at the last red square on the curb, and then try and keep it as tight as possible and start to feed it throttle. It's going to be very hard. It's going to understeer. You're going to end up right near the edge of the road over there. It's just the way the car is, especially with the momentum you carry through here. You're going to end up all the way over here. You're going to start to pick that throttle up as aggressively as you possibly can to run down the hill. Up through the gears again. You'll get back to 5th gear as you're coming down here. You'll come past the 200 meter board. You'll be in the middle of the track because obviously the momentum. You want to start drifting back towards the left as soon as possible. Big brake pressure at the 100 meter board, which is right there. Back to second gear. Now this one's a little bit tricky. You see this little like flag marshal stand just there? That's your turning point. So it's not really as well marked with a curb or anything like that. So you got to sort of pay attention. But once you get to that point there, turn the car in at the corner. You're going to clip this curb here, but only the first tier of the 3 tiers. So just the very low bit. Let the car rotate around. The car's going to track right out to the edge of the road. You want to use all this circuit. 2 tyres right off of it. Now, you'll see here how there's like a green and white curb behind the red and white curb, but it ends just here. That's where we turn in at the last chicane. Turn in there. Same again here. Use a little tiny bit of curb here, but not too much. About the first tier. Same again here, but you can use the second tier here. A little bit more curb here. Cut the car across. Let it run right out to the edge of the road. And there you go, guys. That is your walkthrough track guide of Magny-Cours in the Ferrari 488 GT3 for Week 12's track guide. I hope this helps you guys for your last season's race of racing. Good luck, and we will hopefully see you next season for Week 1 for Season 4. We'll see you then. Thanks, guys.